Welcome to the Environmental Health Learn to Earn program, a transformative initiative by Actuate Biomedicine. This program is designed to tackle the pressing environmental challenges faced by communities, especially in Kenya. Our 8-week program combines 2 physical classes and 6 online classes, offered every 2 months. We educate and empower participants by incentivizing their active involvement with Actuate tokens. Our diverse group includes university students and global environmental health community members, creating a dynamic and inclusive learning environment. Communities worldwide face severe issues such as pollution, inadequate access to clean water, and a lack of environmental awareness. These problems lead to pollution from industrial emissions and improper waste disposal, lack of safe drinking water, causing waterborne diseases like cholera and dysentery, unsustainable practices and habitat destruction due to insufficient environmental consciousness. Our program aims to address these issues through 4 main goals: educating participants on the importance of environmental health, building a cohesive global community of environmental activists, promoting sustainable practices at individual, family, and community levels, facilitating practical engagement through activities like tree planting. For individuals, particularly mothers and fathers, environmental health is crucial. It ensures clean air, safe water, and healthy living conditions, essential for maternal health and child development. Families benefit from cleaner surroundings that reduce disease incidence and promote healthier living conditions. A healthy environment supports better pregnancy outcomes and child development. Communities experience improved quality of life and reduced healthcare costs through sustainable practices. Engaging in environmental health fosters collective responsibility and sustainable living. At a national level, a healthy environment supports economic growth by minimizing healthcare expenses and increasing productivity. Eco-health practices strengthen national resilience, ensuring food security and biodiversity preservation. The Environmental Health Learn to Earn program by Actuate Biomedicine is more than just education. It's a movement. By promoting sustainable practices and a comprehensive understanding of environmental issues, we create a ripple effect of positive change, leading to healthier individuals, families, communities, and nations. Join us in fostering a sustainable future. Together, we can make a difference. Welcome to the Environmental Health Learn to Earn program, a transformative initiative by Actuate Biomedicine. This program is designed to tackle the pressing environmental challenges faced by communities, especially in Kenya. Our 8-week program combines 2 physical classes and 6 online classes, offered every 2 months. We educate and empower participants by incentivizing their active involvement with Actuate tokens. Our diverse group includes university students and global environmental health community members, creating a dynamic and inclusive learning environment. Communities worldwide face severe issues such as pollution, inadequate access to clean water, and a lack of environmental awareness. These problems lead to pollution from industrial emissions and improper waste disposal, lack of safe drinking water, causing waterborne diseases like cholera and dysentery, unsustainable practices and habitat destruction due to insufficient environmental consciousness. Our program aims to address these issues through 4 main goals: educating participants on the importance of environmental health, building a cohesive global community of environmental activists, promoting sustainable practices at individual, family, and community levels, facilitating practical engagement through activities like tree planting. For individuals, particularly mothers and fathers, environmental health is crucial. It ensures clean air, safe water, and healthy living conditions, essential for maternal health and child development. Families benefit from cleaner surroundings that reduce disease incidence and promote healthier living conditions. A healthy environment supports better pregnancy outcomes and child development. Communities experience improved quality of life and reduced healthcare costs through sustainable practices. Engaging in environmental health fosters collective responsibility and sustainable living. At a national level, a healthy environment supports economic growth by minimizing healthcare expenses and increasing productivity. Eco-health practices strengthen national resilience, ensuring food security and biodiversity.
Let's get started.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome again to our environmental health Learn to Own class as we begin our fourth cohort or fourth cycle. So for this 8 weeks, we shall be having various guest speakers to take us through what they do in their day-to-day job within the environmental health sector. So I would like to welcome everybody once again. And the program for today would be a presentation by our topic master for today, who is our guest speaker, Mrs. Kathra. She will take us through what she does, and then following that, we shall be having insights and commentaries by our CEO, Dr. Macharia. And then we shall be having an interactive session in which anyone who has any questions for Mrs. Katra can be encouraged to ask and learn more. And then after that, we shall be having the signing of the attendance form, as this is a Learn to Earn class in which your engagement earns you our Actuate token. So once again, welcome. It seems like Mrs. Katra is having a problem with the meeting. Frida, she says she was removed by the host.
Oh yeah. Maybe she's on the wrong meeting.
Or maybe she can try joining again.
In the right link?
Yeah.
She was removed by the host?
Let me try again. She is saying since the host had removed her, she cannot access it at all.
Really? What does that mean now?
I'm not
Frida,
sure what's the problem with the link.
Frida, what's the problem? Frida is not speaking.
Yeah.
What happened to her?
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened.
She said she was removed by the host. So if she clicks on it, she can't get in. I think it's the browser. She can try it to log in a different browser. Is she on the laptop?
I think she's using her laptop because she had slides to show.
Yes. Ask her to use a different browser.
She's saying the same issue. Let me.
In every browser? That's unlikely. You see, one browser can can kick you out because of its own specific settings, idiosyncrasies.
But she sent me a screenshot. It says you are unable to rejoin this meeting because you were previously removed by the host.
How is that possible? Previously removed by the host. What does that mean now? Unless we end the meeting and we start it all over again. Hmm?
I'm not sure. I think
Your
maybe
previous
she says maybe it will work if the host is changed.
the host has changed. I think what you can do is terminate the instance. The instance of the meeting is terminated. So everyone is here. Just Frida, just cancel the meeting and then we'll start it again. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I don't know what's wrong with that. Yeah, let's all stop the meeting.
Okay, I think we should just start. Miss Swarnima, welcome to our environmental health class. We, as I mentioned before, we also teach people on environmental sustainability and safe practices for sustainable development and One Health as well, which you said you are very familiar with, and you're also having your own program for teaching members of sustainable One Health practices. So we would like to hear more on that. So welcome. Please unmute yourself and you can share with us your expert views.
Okay, thank you so much, Linda. Hello, everybody. Namaskar. I'm Swarnima Khatri. I'm from Nepal, and I'm really glad to join you guys today here for the environmental health class. And I would like to uh, say special thanks to Linda for inviting me to it. So, talking about environmental sustainability and One Health approach, I want to start from talking about my current initiative that I co founded with my friends. It's called Planet Pulse Nepal, where we focus on climate education, sustainable development goals, and One Health approach in Nepal. So my journey, it began with a very deep passion for protecting our environment and understanding how interconnected our health and the health of planet is. And if I have to talk about One Health approach, firstly, um, I got to know about One Health approach from a colleague of mine. And I was very interested on it when I heard about it. So I joined a course from a German university and I learned more about it. So what I learned is that One Health approach is not just a very brand new concept, but it has been started from a very long time. Like healers, they treated animals and humans together, seeing humans and animals as a folk of God. So there is no focus on the role of environment only, right? So one Health approach is basically a framework that recognizes the interconnection between all different disciplines, right? Like human health, animal health, and environmental health. It is all very much interconnected, and it is based on idea that by promoting healthy ecosystem and protecting the biodiversity in it, we're also protecting the human health and reducing the risk of genetic diseases. And one, we all know how big the risk of genetic diseases is, as we all have been through past lockdown because of COVID, which is also one of the genetic diseases, right? So in similar way, like if we talk about deforestation does not just impacts the local wildlife, it also disrupts the natural disease barriers and contributing to climate change and creating situation where diseases can easily jump to human population. So One Health approach emphasizes that by safeguarding ecosystem like if we are farmers, right, we should try to promote the endemic species of the particular area, right? So if we try to plant foreign plants and everything in our area, that can bring new diseases, new kind of problems in the environment as well. So safeguarding ecosystem, we are also investing in our own well-being and sustainability. So that is how one Health approach drives the sustainability and environmental health promotion. And in Plant Pulse Nepal, we promote an integrated One Health approach through community dialogues in schools and different kind of events. We recently had a very good webinar on One Health approach for climate change mitigation, where one of our colleagues gave a very beautiful presentation on how it One Health approach can help to mitigate the climate change as well. And that is how we are working so far. And our work at Planet Pulse, it mostly highlights how essential like the environment sustainability is in every aspect of life, right? And we also promote sustainable practices, like we go to school and community for dialogues on climate change, and we talk about not not just the bigger things like renewable energy and stuff, right? We also talk about from the very grassroots activities that can foster a very strengthened climate action, right? Like reducing the waste at our homes, protecting the local biodiversity, promoting the endemic species. We are not only addressing climate change, we are also enhancing community health and resilience in that way. So it's all about fostering the mindset for leadership that encourages the community to protect and preserve the resources that supports them, right? So even with small steps, when practiced collectively, we can bring like tremendous impact. So that is where we believe that education plays a very bigger role. So Planet Pulse Nepal mostly works for the climate change education, One Health approach education, and SDGs education. So of course, like promoting sustainability isn't without its challenges, right? We, as a very small youth initiative, farmers, like we have to reach out for fundings, we have to reach out for communities, local government for like very good cooperation on working for it. So our future goals includes expanding our outreach and partnering, like with many organizations and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, that is it. So, thank you so much for letting me share my journey and insights. I'm really excited to hear it from you guys as well. I'm really looking forward to learning from you guys. And if you guys have any questions on the things that I've talked about, please feel free to. And yeah, that is it. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you very much. We are very happy to like learn from your past experiences as well. So I would like to also invite our CEO, Dr. Macharia, to give us some insights on what you've discussed as well. So welcome, Dr. Macharia.
Well, thank you, Linda. So your name is Ketra. Is it Ketra? Let me understand how to pronounce your name.
It's actually, you're talking to me, right? It's
Yeah,
Swarnima Khatri.
Kadri. Shwanima.
Yeah, yeah,
Shwanima
right.
Kadri.
Exactly.
Okay. See, okay, Shwanima Kadri. And see, your organization is called the organization. I didn't get the name for the organization because you speak so
It's,
fast. You speak a lot
oh,
of
really?
English, a lot of very fast, of course. You want to speak, slowly by
Oh,
slowly, so we can
oh,
comprehend.
yeah.
What did you call your organization?
It's Planet Pulse.
Oh, Planet Pulse.
Yeah,
Oh,
Planet Pulse Nepal.
oh. So are you in Nepal?
Yeah, yeah, right.
Nepal is next to India, I think, if I remember my
Yeah,
geography.
haha, right, right. It is.
All right. I haven't. I see. I don't know much about Nepal. But
Uh-huh.
I think, is that where you have the Himalayas?
Yeah, right. Like the tallest mountain in the world, the Mount Everest is in Nepal, and we have a lot of Himalayan series as well.
What's caused the Himalayas? Is this a volcano? It's a volcanic mountain.
No, no, the snow-covered mountains.
But what pushed up the soil up there all the way? Was it a volcanic episode long time ago?
Oh, right, right. Yeah, I got it now. Yes, right.
It's volcanic.
Um, it's not volcanic, but like as we all know, like the mountains are made from like the volcanic materials that settle down a long, long, long period of time. So right now, our Himalayas are just snow-covered mountains. We don't have volcanic mountains around our Nepal territory.
When you say volcanic, I mean dormant volcano. It's not active. It's not active. It's not pushing up new magma out there. All right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's so great to know you, first of all, and also to know your work. I appreciate what you guys are doing in One Health.
Thank you.
We believe, for example, ourselves that One Health, as the way it was conceptualized long, long time ago by our ancestors, then later was adopted by the World Health Organization in 1970s. World Health Organization has not been able to implement One Health well enough because if it had implemented it, we would not be having diseases like COVID spreading everywhere, or even diseases like Ebola. We were able to stop them, but we are not able to stop them because there's something missing in One Health, which is what we are actively working to introduce. In order for One Health to be sustainable, sustainability, as you talked about sustainability meaning being able to produce One Health on a continuous basis over and over again. The one element that's missing in One Health is economic health to make it sustainable. Mhm. Because as we are protecting the plants, we are protecting the environment so that we can protect the animals and to protect people, we need money, isn't it? Where does that money come from? That money, we believe in Actuate Foundation, that money should come from the people who are involved in doing that work, that everyone participates, that we don't get money from somewhere else. But the people who, a lot of people on the ground, say for example, a lot of now projects in One Health are relying on funding from an external source somewhere else. Whereas the people who you'd call the people involved in, see, on the ground, let's say people on the ground themselves do not participate in financing the One Health. See, that's the issue. That people involved and they are not considered salient to the funding question. So they're outside funding, but then they're supposed to participate in producing One Health. How can they produce One Health if they are not even included in the financing decisions? See? So they're actually external to the funding. And that way they are salient to the funding. And because they are salient, then One Health, even since World Health Organization ever started implementing it in 1972, the idea of One Health has not caught. It doesn't become sustainable because it is lacking the essential element, which is called the economy itself, the economics of One Health. Economics of One Health comes to the economics of the individual. How does that individual make money? Or how does that individual, and for an individual to make money, the work that that individual is doing every single day must be represented in the marketplace. Such that if you have subsistence croppers or farmers who are out there in the village, say in Africa or in Nepal, those farmers do a lot of work every single day, like the farmers in Africa. They are the most hardworking subsistence croppers, very hardworking. But the work that they do does not show up in the marketplace, in the global finance market, doesn't appear there because that work is not recognized by the finance system. That finance system is called the traditional finance, centralized finance, does not recognize the work of the people on the ground. It's incapable, it's actually unable to see it. And so we say, why don't we use new finance, which is called the blockchain finance, decentralized finance, which is able now to recognize the value of the work of every single individual through the cell phone. I'm going to ask you a question about smartphones in a bit. So the smartphone is the primary technology for producing One Health. Smartphone, meaning that on the smartphone you can have a blockchain wallet, which you can use to pay people with blockchain tokens for the value of the work that they produce every day. And you can even incentivize people to do the good work of, say, like reforestation, planting trees, taking care of animals. And when people do that, they participate, they come to the position of saliency in funding One Health. Then through blockchain, we're able to do new innovative funding mechanisms such as quadratic funding for funding the One Health programs. Like if we want to have people, first of all, basically, if you want to have education, to go to schools and educate people, we can use blockchain tokens to incentivize people, teachers, let's say community people in the community, to go to school and then teach people about the positive behavior of dealing with trees. Instead of cutting down trees, planting trees. And then for every tree planted, a person receives an Actuate token for every tree planted. You see that token on the blockchain. This is like as if the token itself becomes a representation of the tree that has been planted. And that tree is represented on the blockchain. And the token itself is liquid, so it is tradable. So it gets directly in the finance market. And by doing so, the value of the work of planting trees or planting a tree gets its own representation into the global marketplace, in the global finance market. See? And that is going to bring a lot of value that's on the ground. And then money, when these tokens now are in the global finance market, then they can do lots of things for raising even more money through quadratic funding or retroactive funding programs. And that is what is Actuate. That's what Actuate is all about. Thinking about the economic elements of One Health. So we call that sustainable One Health. Just traditionally we have, they call the One Health, which has got the three elements: human health, animal health, and environmental health. But now we have added the fourth element, which is called economic health. And economic health is the fourth element of health production, which we believe is the foundation of health production. Health, let's say global health. We cannot have health anywhere in the world without economic health. And we believe that economic health is by far the greatest cause of improvement in health. There is no other cause of improvement in health greater than economic health, that the ability to pay. Because when people have received money for the value of the work they produce every day, and that value is represented in the marketplace, then they can have money to go to the to buy nutritious food for balanced diet, and they can have money to go and visit their medical centers and pay for medical services, and even pay money for education for their own children. So it begins with the human action at the very, very basic human level, recognizing the value of the work that humans do every day. And that is our approach to One Health. So the question I wanted to ask you is, what is the cellular phone penetrance in Nepal? Rather, how many people, what's the percentage of people have cell phones today? Would you know?
Almost everybody.
Almost everybody. That means every household has got a cell phone, isn't it? And now are those cell phones smartphones, or many of them are the USSD phone? That means the feature phone. What kind of phone?
Sorry, I didn't get it.
Are they, what kind of phone are they? Are they the feature phone which has got the tactile keypad,
Ah,
or or is it? Hmm?
that I cannot confirm. Many user like people uses both kinds, so yeah.
Both kind. Okay. These cell phones, both of them, people having such cell phones can have access to a blockchain wallet. That means that they can actually install they can receive cryptocurrency, whether it is a smartphone. You can get a trust wallet in a smartphone, and do you know about uh, the crypto wallet like MetaMask or
I'm not really familiar with it.
yeah? So this is what you see. This is what is the base of, as I say, the technology. You could say the technology for One Health, for economic health, into to produce One Health. What we believe is that because every household has got a cell phone. Every household has got a cell phone, whether it's a USSD phone, a feature phone, whether it is a smartphone. Everyone has access to the blockchain. Everyone can have access to the blockchain through that smartphone. Just like the way we have access to WhatsApp and you can make phone calls. And if we can actually gain access to that, that means that everyone has access to the finance market to get the value of the work that each individual produces every day will get represented in the market. When we do that, then just by making use of those cell phones, distribute um, dis- distribute the knowledge, let's say, of economic health to everybody, then everybody's economic value gets represented in the market. Then you'll see a very big change in the economy itself, very big change in the health of people, even very big change in the environment. Because the reason people destroy the environment is because of economic hardship. When they're trying to go there and look for food in the forest, they cut down trees and do all kinds of things. Now, that value of work that people produce every day and is not represented in the market is known as dead capital. So the capital that exists on the ground and is dead, according to Hernando de Soto, is more than 700 times the gross domestic products of the nation. So the dead capital we are describing here, people doing works every day, and that work does not show up in any marketplace because it is not represented, is 700 times the GDP. So now we are the precipice of multiplying the GDP of any nation by multiple tens, multiple factors of 10, like 10 times 10 times 10, of 7 times, 70 times, even 700 times. And there's a lot of wealth that is on the ground that is not visible now because it doesn't appear in anybody's balance sheet. And so One Health will become possible if all that wealth, we figure out how to harness that wealth and put it on the balance sheet. And the only technology that's able to do that is the blockchain technology, particularly through using either tokens like Actuate token or all the other blockchain tokens. So that is what we'd like to say, and we're very excited that we can have great partnerships so that we can extend this work all the way to Nepal and to all the other places, particularly in the entire African continent, because African continent, we're told, is citadels of debt capital. A lot of debt capital in Africa, which is invisible in the finance market. So One Health, that's why One Health has become unproducible, let's say, or even unsustainable. To get sustainable One Health, we need to breathe life into that debt capital, becomes alive, and then we can serve everyone. So, and you see the technology is already there. It's called the smartphone or the cell phone. If we have the cell phone, almost 100% distribution of the cell phone in the whole country, then that becomes quite easily done, or QED. Is it not? Yeah. Okay, that's what I would like to say about that. Any questions, concern?
Yeah, this all sounds interesting. I'm very new to it. Maybe I'll look into it more. Thank you.
Yeah, so Linda will help you learn a lot more about the Actuate token. I mean, let's talk about about the blockchain itself, how to, and if you introduce this idea in your project, then you're going to see in a few years, local people will participate in funding the things that matter to them. See that? So another thing is that we have a summit coming up in December. Are you coming to our summit in December? It's in 4 weeks.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm
I
not
think so.
really.
I think you're coming. Yeah, you know why I think? Because you are doing the same thing, same type of thing. But of course, if because of travel, if it's sudden, we can we can we can do a remote conversation like what we have right now. We send you a link so that you may participate together with your team out there in the
Yeah,
pod. How
yeah,
about that?
maybe. Maybe, yeah, I need to talk with the people.
Yes. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So, but then maybe next year we can receive you in Nairobi, and then you can invite us in Nepal. Some of us need to be taught how to climb a mountain like Himalayas.
Right.
That's a great experience. Okay. So, anyone in the question? Frida? Linda.
Yes,
Yes.
I would
Back
like
to
to
you.
open the floor for anyone. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Doc.
Mhm.
Thank you, Swarnima, for your insights. I would like to open the floor for anyone who has any question or clarification. And whilst you can either put it on the chat or you can unmute yourself and ask a question, whatever you're comfortable with. As we wait for a question, I would like to also give our summit announcements that is going to be given by Augustine. See, Augustine is not present. Diana, if you're able to step up, please, and give out some announcements for the summit.
The undisputed.
Diana?
Mm.
I guess she is muted
Yeah.
or having some issues.
Yeah. Let's talk about the summit briefly, and then. So, what this summit is about is we'll be discussing is about health access. I mean, let's say how we can produce health using these great technologies, decentralized finance, and the blockchain and artificial intelligence. So the question you're asking, how can we use artificial intelligence? Well, let's say, question is how can we use decentralized finance and multiply the effect of decentralized finance with artificial intelligence to produce health and human development? Health, you know what health is? Health is human body, which is one health. Health of the animals and the environment. And then human development is economic development. How can we use that, these technologies? And so the summit has gained a lot of interest, response from all over the world. Many people are planning to come to Nairobi in 4 weeks. It's going to be at Kenyatta University. So all of you, everyone, let's say it's going to be a hotbed of, great conversation about how we use these technologies. And first of all, the summit is very unique because we have not done anything like this in Africa before. Because it's basically on translation science, translating the knowledge that we have in the African continent into commercial products to improve health and human services, or to and human life. Let's say to improve health and human life. And so the nature of the workshop will be plenary sessions and workshops. Plenary sessions, workshop, plenary session. So we're gonna be in the amphitheater at Kenyatta University, and the amphitheater can host as many as 3,500 people. 3,500. So that is good. So you're gonna have lots of people on the ground. And so don't hesitate to come because there's enough room for you. Okay, 3,500 people. And then we have 8 workshops happening at the same time. These are going to be happening in series together the plenary session. We have great speakers, highly professional speakers, highly qualified, highly trained people from different disciplines. It's highly multidisciplinary. We have professionals in medicine, because medicine, internal medicine, surgery, and all other medical disciplines. And of course, then we have engineers, civil engineers, electrical engineers, then computer science, software engineers, all coming together, plus government workers, people who do work in policy and all that. So let's say the summit is highly diverse because we cannot produce something new by having a single discipline. It's highly multidisciplinary. Even if we should have architects, so that we can actually have a full income, a full scale kind of workshops. The workshops themselves will be very intensive workplaces. People are coming to work. What work would they be doing? The work is the work of creating the future. Imagine the future that we truly want. And so the workshops are going to have 3 days. The very first day is the day for imagining that future. What future do we truly want? For example, we say the future for environment, because we're going to have a workshop on environment. People in the workshop for the environment, the group will be talking about the environment of the future, that stable environment that is not destroying it's not destroying where we live, and does not introduce diseases. What kind of environment is that? How does it look like? What do we need? What must it have in order to be good environment or great environment for us? So that's the day one of envisioning the future we truly want, say for environment. Similarly, we have the day one for health access. Say, what does universal health access look like? The future where everyone has got access to the best healthcare, which is affordable and of the highest quality. See, that is another workshop. And so similar workshops, even translation science. See, translation science, we have a workshop on two types of translation. Translation of the biomedical scientific knowledge. What would the future look like if in Africa we're able to translate the biomedical knowledge into commercial products? That is on day one. So the day one is envisioning the future. Day two is about looking at the current reality. What is it we are doing right now? And that's why everybody will be presenting the work they're doing today. Similarly, like the work that Samira has presented today, that is the day where such presentation you hear, this is what we are doing in our country, this is what we are doing in our region, this is what we are doing in our organization, this is what we are doing today. Okay, and we have so many presentations about the present state, the current reality. On day 3, this is the day of creating the roadmap from the present reality or the current reality to the future we truly want. Okay, so that day 3 is a day of building the roadmap. And the roadmap will include milestones, and out of those milestones, new organization will form. The already existing organizations will even be strengthened. They fight partners. So in the summit, you would fight partners. But the ultimate question is if when you form an organization, the real question where you're there in that meeting is to find how do you finance that organization going forward? How do we form capital to fund the projects or the initiatives that you have? So the main outcome, the main outcome goal for you when you come there is to figure out how you fund your work, then to find funding partners among those partners that you'll be discussing with in the workshop. So every workshop must come with a funding solution for the partnership that have emerged. That is a requirement. So if people come out the third day without funding solution, we shall keep them in KU until the day they come out with the funding solution, then they can be allowed to go home. Nobody leaves the site unless they know how they're going to fund their organization and find funding partners and figure out how to raise the money. Now, because we are talking about the blockchain, now the biggest challenge is you figure out how to use the blockchain to raise money, either with quadratic funding or retroactive public good funding, because these are things that are going to be discussed is the mechanism for fundraising and how you can use the Actuate tokens themselves to finance those projects. And so that's then on the 4th day, all the workshops are going to go back to the plenary hall, and each workshop is going to present the plan they created about how they're going to move forward that future, the roadmap they're going to the roadmap to the future, and then the financing plan using the blockchain tokens such as Actuate tokens. See that? Now that is what it's about. Now, besides that, there's going to be serious competitions, because there are already people who have ideas, and they'll present to the plenary. Those ideas will be presented in the plenary, and in the plenary means that everybody in the summit, and using their cell phones, people will vote. So the winning number one, the one premier position. So we have set aside about 100,000 Actuate tokens for rewards. These rewards shall be given to the winners of the competition. These competitions will be people who have presented the posters and also pitches, the pitch presentations. It's in their workshops. These pitches are happening in the workshops, okay? So we have one position for the position that the position number 1 will get 20,000 tokens. Position number 2, they get 10,000 tokens. Position number 3, they get 5,000 tokens. And for the entrance, because if you want to enter into competition, but they don't become 1, 2, or 3, you get 1,000 tokens as an award, as a prize. So there are many, many prizes. These are called bounties. They are bounties of prizes. So the summit itself is really bountiful for you. Now, another bounty that you do not know, maybe you already know about, is that we have said admission in the summit is going to be free on condition you do 3 things. You have to do 3 things in order to get that free admission. 1, get Actuate token. Okay. You get Actuate token from where? From Pancake Swap. If you don't know how to get Actuate token from Pancake Swap, ask Diana or anyone else. Okay, ask Linda who is here. How do I get Actuate token from Pancake Swap? Obviously, you need a wallet to do that. And of course, the wallets, when you open that wallet, do not forget about how to keep your wallet safe. Don't forget about the mnemonic phrases and how to safeguard your wallet. Do not forget that. Don't say that I just got a wallet and now I don't know. Make sure your wallet is secure, okay? Because if it's not secure, now that is not anybody's problem but your problem. The way you keep your phone safe is nothing to do with anybody else. It's up to you and yourself. And make sure, as we have talked many times, save the mnemonic phrase in a place that is safe and secure. Only you can access it. So when you have a wallet, get 5 Actuate tokens. But 5 Actuate tokens is the minimum. You can get as many as 100 or 100,000, or even 200,000. Get Actuate tokens, okay? And then create a liquidator pool with those Actuate tokens, because there's no point of having Actuate token to sit in your wallet. That's not useful to yourself, neither is it useful to the token. Because when the tokens are in liquidity pool, they're earning you passive income. Okay, for every transaction, you earn money. So put them in the pool. Create a liquidity pool. And when we create a liquidity pool, Pancake Swap itself is going to issue an NFT number. So that NFT number, copy it. And now when you copy that number, go to the registration form for the summit on actuate.bio. It's on the address actuate.bio/attendees. www.actuate.bio/attendee or attendees. Okay, it's going to give you the registration form. Enter the information, and on that form, enter the NFT number that now is in your clipboard, or paste it, and then you submit. That is all you need to do. That way, you have a ticket to attend the summit. Okay, that ticket is yours. It's free because when you buy the actual token, they belong to you. You don't buy them and then you give them to anybody. They belong to you. When you create the liquidity pool is yours. But then because of doing those things, then you are awarded a seat in the high places. That means a summit. You have a seat in the plenary hall, and you have a seat at the workshop of your choice. Okay, now to know which workshops to attend, go to our website www.actuate.bio and /Nairobi Summit program. Okay. Yes, maybe it's www.actuate.bio/program. Yeah, you're going to find the summit program, and when you find the summit program, now you can study it. So I think Linda should be posting these links here as I'm talking, so that people have access to them. Okay, but the way you want to register is in the registration form, which Linda will post here. And the program itself is on the program page, where you can choose the workshop that you would like to attend that fits your need. Okay, so that's what I would like to add about the summit. And you can see that there's very huge interest. There's going to be a lot of people. So if we get more than 3,500 people, then we might get overcrowded. So we may have to stop taking new names, but we're opening it up so that you don't have to have a lot of money to attend, but you need to have a lot of willpower to participate, because this is going to be a very high level meeting, which is going to mean a lot to your career. Okay. So that's what I would like to say. And thank you so much, Leader. And I think I'll stop talking so that you can post those links, Leader, to the people.
Thank you, Dr. Macharia. I have posted the link to the Nairobi Summit for perusing, because there's a lot, as Doc mentioned, there's a lot to go through and a lot to discover on which workshop you would like to. I shall keep posting the workshops as well here and in the Actuate group and in the groups that I have also shared this class to, just in case you're also from the Actuate environmental group as well. And Doctor, there is a question from Alan. He asked, how could blockchain technology enhance data sharing and collaboration among One Health stakeholders, such as public health, veterinary, and environmental sectors, while ensuring data privacy and security? What role could blockchain play in improving traceability and accountability within the food supply chain to prevent cross-species disease transmission and enhance public health safety?
Oh,
I'm not sure if you understood that question.
I understood the question.
Yeah, okay.
He's asking what role that will blockchain play. Blockchain will play all those roles. It's only the people working with the blockchain to work with it. First of all, in terms of data sharing, blockchain, you know, I think is the smoothest technology for data sharing. It's not complicated like through the traditional information system. That blockchain is the smoothest technology for data sharing because it's really not expensive. It's not because it's not expensive to host. First of all, blockchain is not expensive to host, particularly if you have hyperdata. You're saying the data in biomedical data, in One Health, it's heavy data that requires data centers. Okay, and one of the limiting factor in data sharing for, let's say, in health is the amount of space required. So we create data centers that are very expensive. I can tell you, like we had in some of our discovery calls here in our Learn to One session, is that a lot of data, health data in Africa is not hosted in Africa. They say, oh, our data is hosted remotely. Where? Because we cannot afford to build those data centers. Yeah, because we are poor, that's what you're told. We're not poor, all we have is dead capital, lots of it. But then, so that what, how do we build those data centers? We don't need to build data center anymore. Blockchain removes the need for building a data center. Because blockchain itself, data is hosted in everyone's, the blockchain itself is hosted everywhere. It's distributed. The blockchain is distributed. That means that the space, the data space that you're asking for is not really physical space like those data centers, like what Google has, what they call cloud computing. It is, the space is determined by the tokens. You see that? Is that crazy? Yeah. So the block space, called the block space. So the block space, like when you're paying for gas fees, you're paying for block space. That's what it's about. So what's amazing about blockchain is that block space, you're paying gas fees with a token that is issued by the blockchain itself. So the token pays for itself, its own storage. You see that? I'm telling you, this is mind blowing. Now we're talking about how do we share, how blockchain manage data sharing. Is that so long as you can gain access to the block space, and the block space, you're able to pay for it with your own token. Because, for example, to pay for gas fees, I think, say, I already sell Foundation on their block spaces, you can pay for transaction fees or the block spaces with your own token. You don't have to buy another token to pay for the block space or sequence transaction fees. So what's called the gas fees becomes your own token, like using actual token to pay for block space. And that means that all that data, instead of now, mobilizing $100 million to build a data center, you use your own token to buy block spaces on the blockchain. And see, the blockchain itself is distributed, is hosted in everybody's laptop. Do you get that? Okay, somebody's talking out there. So do you get that, Alan? So that's the first limitation that goes out of the window. That we're not limited but by not having data centers. All you have to know is to know how to build a token and then use that token to buy block spaces. And these block spaces are they're everywhere because as the more people are getting, and then of course, the next thing, if there are so many people on the blockchain, are they not going to cannibalize the bandwidth? The bandwidth is the next problem. And then Alan, if this is the Alan of Tail, he told us that they are manufacturing chips. Now these ASIC chips, microchips, that are handling much greater bandwidth, and they can transport data much higher speed. So the speed of transmission of data is going to be increasing according to Moore's law, even get faster than what Moore had described in in his Moore's law. So then you can see blockchain itself in terms of security. Blockchain beats the traditional finance, the Web 2, let's say, which uses username and password. So we're talking about encryption, highest security possible with a private key. So blockchain more secure, the data is private. You see all this now when the blockchain, if you want, for example, health data, your private health information. There's some private health information that should not be displayed on a website. On a website like Etherscan. But what you can display on within the Etherscan is transactions and the block spaces and stuff like that. So what's called aggregate data, you can show it off to people in health data. Like if you're doing epidemiology study, instead of displaying the individual disease conditions in a health chart or in a health record, you can display aggregate data from health systems, which can be used for epidemiology tracking. And so that is what you can actually share publicly, that information. It's not because it's public, it's aggregate, like public health data. But what's private remains private. So blockchain is capable of doing that for you. Separating what is public, it stays public, and from what's private and what's private remains private. Blockchain is able to do that. So just like traditional, let's say, you could say that Web 2 technology was able to do all the security things, but it's nothing that's got a greater security than blockchain, because the blockchain so far is the most advanced security, cybersecurity software we have, which is encryption. Yeah, because every transaction is encrypted, and of course you can't change it. So these were 3 questions. One of them, but I think was there another question, Alan?
There's no Alan, if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask. And there isn't any other question in the
the food supply chain question that I've raised.
Oh,
what was the question about food supply chain?
He asks, what role could blockchain play in improving traceability and accountability within the food supply chain to prevent cross-species disease transmission and enhance public health safety?
Our food supply chain, that's called provenance. For example, food supply. Now I'll give you an example of a blockchain chicken farm in China. There's a guy in China who grows chicken, and in China, well, on his chicken farm, what he does, every chicken he ties a small strip, and then he has labeled it with a QR code. Okay, so all the eggs coming out of that chicken, even the meat, has the same QR code. So if that meat appears somewhere in a supermarket in the United States, you can tell exactly where it came from, because it came from his blockchain chicken farm in a village in China. I think it's the mountains. I think it's in eastern China, close to the Himalayas. Okay, so that is called provenance. And so in other places, the other things people are using blockchain for provenance is in wine distillery business. Like, the people who make wine, they are always very proud to say, oh, this wine comes from Bordeaux. How would you know it's coming from Bordeaux? Yeah. But if people at Bordeaux have a specific code for their wine when it's being bottled, and that code is put on the bottle, not on the paper, but it's actually minted on the cork itself. So when you're buying the wine, you can actually scan it with your phone and say, wow, this one comes from the Bordeaux village in France. And so if you like testing a particular wine that's coming from France, then you'll be knowing which village is coming from, because you can actually scan it. Yeah. So now this needs to come down from wine and large companies selling chicken. Like maybe that guy has got about 3,000 chickens. Is it 3,000 or 300,000? I can't remember. So from such large operations to your own farm at home, how can you use blockchain? So if you're aware of blockchain, and generating a QR code is not so difficult. Now, because we are having people here, people who are smart, educated, just like the way long time ago, they used to label a cow with what? With an iron rod, hot iron. That's what we used to do. You could know cows from Nyeri because they actually labeled. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, that process where the cow was burnt with some hot iron, and then it had that. The Nyeri cows were written a big N on the back, so you can be knowing these cows are coming from Nyeri. Today, it's possible now to put that type of a QR code, say, on a plastic thing, say a plastic tag that you can hang on the ear of your animal, like a cow. Instead of burning the skin, you put a plastic card which can be scannable, and then somebody can come and scan it. And then when you're packaging, you package your meat, and then you put the same QR code. Okay, so this QR code tells people where that thing is coming from. So anybody who wants to buy that meat, they just have to scan that QR code and say, I want to buy this meat, scan it. And I want to buy the meat from Nyeri, from a Nyeri bovine, Nyeri bulls, Nyeri cow. And then you can scan it. And see, that way, even if, say, a certain food is infected, you can actually track very easily that I was eating beef in this restaurant. Say I'm in Boston, I'm having food in a certain restaurant. That restaurant bought this meat that I've got this QR code, and this QR code can be traced back to a certain village in Nyeri. You see that? Because then it's possible to actually know the pathway that package of meat followed in order to arrive in Boston to be cooked in a certain restaurant. And then you can actually track the disease. That question is very important because, for example, like when you have this mad cow disease, you see there's a disease called mad cow, which is a protein that is in in cow brain that causes serious dementia. Mhm. If you eat that meat, your brain, your cognition, your brain start decaying, degenerating, and then you go crazy. It's got a prion protein. Now, if you had eaten such beef that is, sick cow in a certain restaurant, then it's possible for the people in the health system to know where it came from. But there's a lot of places where food is coming from. For example, right now, a lot of food, particularly called ethnic food. Let's say ethnic food. That's the one. Food coming from different countries, consumed in ethnic communities, is not labeled for provenance. You can't know where the food came from. And so when the disease comes, it begins to become a huge problem of trying to trace the origin of that disease. For example, when I was working in West Africa, when you board a flight in Lagos, that flight is packed with bags upon bags of food items like fish, seafood, periwinkles. By the way, those things stink so badly. So by the time they come to the airport is stinking like nobody's business. And of course, inside the plane itself. But you cannot prevent people from bringing their own food if that food is admitted by the customs. So, and then the people who bring other dry foods like yams, coconuts, and stuff like that, and they are all imported. And then there are large companies importing food. But there are a lot of people who import food in their carry-on items, or they bring them and they put them in they check them in at the luggage, but then they are going to arrive. That food is going to arrive in New York City, or is going to arrive in Atlanta, Georgia, with the huge population of, say, Nigerians. And then from Atlanta is going to find itself all the way inside the nation, all the way to Missouri, or even all the way to Texas. But if that food is not labeled, and somebody falls sick out of such food, it's very difficult to know where they got that disease from. Because then you have these ethnic restaurants. They call them ethnic restaurants, like they serving, say, food of a particular community that you can use. So, for example, here in Belmont, where I am, we have a Ugandan restaurant. So, and they are selling Ugandan chicken kienyeji, kuku ya kienyeji from Uganda. So how does it get here? Because there's no chicken kienyeji in Belmont. Nobody's raising chicken kienyeji. It means they must be getting that chicken from where? Maybe some village in Kijiji out there in northeastern Uganda. And so we want to have provenance so that the source of that chicken can be traced down to the village where it came from. Just in case of any disease. Nobody has fallen sick so far, and we think it should stay that way. And people will have that kienyeji chicken, the Ugandan kienyeji chicken. They'll have to go to that restaurant so they can enjoy chicken kienyeji. Okay, that's another thing. Now, if there was a label on that chicken with a QR code, you would actually tell this chicken came from this particular village in Uganda. See what I'm saying? And so that technology is going to be very, very helpful in helping to track the movement. It's called the supply chain of food items and other items, so that you can actually know how disease will be transmitted in such items. Then the blockchain will be very useful for countering counterfeit medications. Right now, we know in literature, even the Ministry of Health of Kenya publishes documents that 40% of the medications sold in Kenyan market are counterfeit. 40%. That means 4 out of every tablet you're going to take is not is not pharmacologically active. But it's very difficult for you to tell. I think that's a huge problem because people are people. They are called human beings. They are so naughty that they can actually mix up things, just like you saw government guys selling sand instead of fertilizer. That's the nature of the beasts. But the human mind is that 40% of the medication being sold in the market are counterfeit. That's data from Kenya. Now I cannot tell you the data from other African countries like Nigeria or even Namibia. Maybe they're higher, maybe they are low, depending on the crackdown. But this crackdown is it's not effective without having technology that can tell you the actual provenance of that medication. Where did that medication come from? Where? Because if you can take a tablet, anyone can make a tablet and package it, and then try begin selling it in the country. It's very hard for the government to get to know every single tablet that's being sold in the country, where it's coming from. But if the people, this decentralized platforms like blockchain, would help us hold those kind of guys accountable. You see that provenance of medications, so that you can know this medication is 100% real. It is not counterfeit. There's no room for counterfeit medication here. Yeah. So fighting counterfeit medication is a very big one. Okay. Or even to fight what people call knockoffs. Now you see in fashion industry or even other kind of manufacturing, even for example in say manufacturing tires, shoes, things, you get these called knockoffs. Those knockoffs are counterfeits. Yes. So blockchain is going to help capture those knockoff people in a very serious way. Now, when you're buying knockoff, something that's a counterfeit, you will not be buying it because you do not know. You'll be buying it because you know it's a knockoff. It is doing the work that you wanted to do. For example, if you buy a pair of sneakers, if they told you they are Nikes and the Nike itself is knockoff, you can buy the Nike because it's doing the job of protecting your feet, but you don't care about the Nike logo because one pair of Nike is about 20,000 shillings. Why should you buy a pair of shoes for 20,000 shillings when you can buy a good pair, a knockoff for 10 for whatever 4,000 shillings or even 500, you see, or 2,000.
Dr. Richard,
Yeah, Alan.
there's something while you're talking about the supply chain on food,
Mm,
like the example we used for the Kenyaji chicken from Uganda to where you are.
mm,
So another part of I'm looking at it's because blockchain mostly entails matters concerning transactions. So is, can it be possible? Because right now, if you compare the traditional way, if you even compare economically, like farmers are the ones mostly who are poor. Yeah. If we integrate blockchain into starting from starting from the mouth where the farmer is. So let's say from Uganda where the chicken farmer has the QR code.
mm,
Then with the entire supply chain, like having like an open decentralized way, like to empower the farmers. Because right now, if you look at the maybe the stocks, like how the egg price has been, I think for the past 6 months, the price of eggs has been just shooting up. Yeah, it has been bullish. But if you go back to who are the people actually doing the coming up with the eggs, taking care of the chicken, if you look at their condition, you can't even like compare as if the stock prices for eggs is shooting, it's rallying for almost 6 months. But farmers down here are not like even, they're not even participating in the global market. They just sell per crate. And right now you're looking at blockchain like just transforming the entire supply chain, having it transparent, meaning if you're eating that chicken in Uganda, the money you're spending in Uganda can even reach the farmer without any intermediary in between the, the chain. It's,
Yes, I'm
you've
sorry.
gotten what I'm trying to say.
I get what you're saying. That's called capital markets. So the price of eggs that you see, which market are you saying the price is shooting up? Is it in Nairobi Stock Exchange?
Nairobi Stock Exchange, they have not listed eggs. I don't know why, but we are trying to actually, like last year is the only time that even our NAC was even like recognized internationally. We are still trying to like figure things out, but outside the global, like the, let's say NASDAQ, the, that side.
Nairobi Stock Exchange is dead in the water. I'm telling you, by another 10 years, there will be no Nairobi Stock Exchange. I can
Huh?
tell you that. It won't be there
Why?
because it doesn't represent. No, and I have to call this guy later. Let me tell him I'll call in 10 minutes. What answer? Hello? Daniel, I'm in a meeting. Can I call you in 10 minutes or so? Hi, Daniel. Howski? Hi, Daniel. Rajigua. Hello? Can I call you in 10 minutes? He's not hearing. So anyway, what I'm saying that Nairobi Stock, it cannot survive. It cannot survive the tsunami of decentralized finance. What we have in Nairobi Stock Exchange is not for Kenyans. And I don't know if we have had this conversation with you guys before. The companies listed there are European. So Nairobi Stock Exchange is not for you. That's why Nairobi Stock Exchange does not list the eggs made by African farmers. And eggs, even in the United States, are not listed in New York Stock Exchange or even in NASDAQ. They are listed in a market known as the Mercantile Exchange. The Chicago Mercantile Exchange, or CME, is known as a commodities exchange because eggs are commodities. And the market making for commodities is distinctly different from the market making for stocks. Market making are sold as derivatives, commodities, derivatives.
Yeah.
Derivatives are either futures or the futures. We don't have futures market anyway in Africa. That does not exist. Okay?
Yeah.
And so, if you were to go to Nairobi Stock Exchange and ask them, why don't you introduce futures? They say, yeah, why are they not doing that? That's kind of nonsense. And you see, on the blockchain, we are going to be able to introduce futures with or without Nairobi Stock Exchange. Okay? There are futures options and what these derivatives, why the farmers, say an egg farmer, say somewhere in Missouri, is going to be paid the price of the eggs, even better than the price in the market, because they sell those eggs way ahead of the market. This is in the futures exchange. And we are now, I believe, let me stop saying I think, I know that next year we come to the point where we introduce futures markets for those subsistence farmers who are growing like chicken or even sugarcane, whatever they produce, commodities futures in Africa using, say, Actuate token. And how you compose the futures project is this. If, for example, let's say a supermarket, say like Naivas. Naivas say that we would like 30,000 trays of eggs every year. Let us count them in terms of eggs, a unit of egg, one egg. Okay, supply to me 3 million eggs every month. Okay, so that is what Naivas will say. And then you say that I want to buy 3 million, I'll be buying 3 million eggs every month for the next 1 year. So 3 million eggs times 12 is about 36 billion, isn't it? So 36 million eggs, and the price of an egg is how much do eggs cost? 1 egg, 100 shillings? Or how many shillings? 10 shillings. Alan, I'm asking you, how much is an egg?
Yeah, 14, 16.
Eh? 14,
16 bob.
16 bob.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if so, Naivas is saying by December of 2025, I would have bought for you 36 million eggs. Okay. So
Mhm.
then you are the one who is gonna supply those eggs to Naivas. So the price for those supply of those eggs is in the future. So Naivas
Yeah.
is going to write a contract to say, and then you give Naivas a discount that to buy those eggs at 10 bob. That's made six shillings. Okay. Naivas is
Yeah.
going to sell that contract today. That is November 2024 in the stock exchange. That's in the mercantile exchange, like in New York, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. So those eggs begin trading today. So it's announced in the market that Naivas has issued a contract for 36 million shillings of eggs. And Naivas will sell that contract right now. And Naivas is going to pay you 36 million shillings today. It's going to deposit in your bank account today, in November. Today. You see that? Then
Yeah.
you take that money and do what? And go and create a chicken farm. That is now what's called industrial farming. So you as a farmer, you're able now to produce. You can actually build a house. If you have 36 million shillings, you can build a chicken farm to have how many chicken? As many as thousands of chicken. So that you're able to produce those eggs that they want every month, every month, every month, every month. You're able to produce those eggs. The contract itself begins trading in the market because that contract is 10 shillings. People are going to buy that contract because it's very, very cheap. Because as soon as those eggs, as soon as you bring those eggs to Naivas, the price of eggs in no, the price of the contract of eggs is going to be 16 shillings.
Aye.
So whoever bought it at 10 shillings is going to make 6 shillings that day. And this price is changes every single day because they close, then tomorrow they sell again, and that is what's called mark to market, daily mark to market in the mercantile exchange, and that's what brings money to the local farmer producer all the way down there to the village. Now you can now see that farmer in the village in Uganda raising a lot of kienyeji chicken. You can buy a farm like 10 acres, and the whole farm is chicken walking around there, or even 50 acres. Because if you have 36 million shillings, what can you do with it? Now that is what's called commodity market. That commodity market is almost not allowed for us in Africa to have it. Why? Because the people in the village are going to become rich, and then we are going to discover that, oh my goodness, we actually have more money than they can even imagine. That is that's what the blockchain is going to do. And so we work together. And I want to challenge all of you guys who are here to create, because this way we're going to have even hackathons next year for creating such derivatives markets. You know, one group that does derivatives on blockchain is DXDY.
Yeah.
Or DYDX. You know, DYDX.
I know it.
Huh?
I've used it.
You've used to is a derivatives market.
Yeah.
So DYDX is run by a lady. First of all, that is built by a lady. I think she's Australian woman. You know, can you invite her to the meeting summit in December? Because these things are already built. By the way, derivatives markets are already built on the blockchain. We don't have to build anything new. Okay. So it's a
Yeah.
DYDX type of project to build a commodities market, like that is like Chicago Mercantile Exchange. And I can tell you cannot get industrial level farming if we don't have mercantile market, okay, for commodities exchange. And that is why we are still in subsistence cropping. Yeah, because you cannot sell futures. You cannot say, I've got 10 acres. I'm going to plant potatoes in every inch of that. Can you buy that today? And I will be supplying to you next year. Now that is what is known as financial engineering. Financial engineering is taught at JQuat, but I've not seen in that work of financial engineering in the Nairobi market. That's what I'm saying. That stock exchange is not really doing the job it should be doing to help capitalize the value of the work that people are producing every day. That is why it's going to be obsolete in 10 years. Just like Kenya Post and Telecommunication became obsolete. Yeah, when Safaricom came around. You see that? So the Nairobi Stock Exchange is leading going to obsoleteness. Unless they got on the blockchain. Who says that you cannot go on the blockchain to prevent themselves from dying a natural death? Mhm. So when you find people in Nairobi capital markets, you tell them, listen, to avoid natural death, you better jump into blockchain. Get Actuate token right now. Don't you think that's a great advice for them, which you'll love quite a bit? Okay, Alan. So anyway, guys, that's a great question, but that's what's the issue is. I need to call this guy called Mr. Kiwengi. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Swarnima, and thank you, Dr. Macharia, for all those insightful knowledge that you have kindly shared with us. And thank you, Alan, for asking those important questions. So we have come to the end of our meeting. So I will be sending the attendance form in the chat room, and I'll be giving you everybody 5 minutes to fill it out. As I mentioned, this is a learn to earn class in which you get a token for attending our classes. So we shall see you next week, same time, same place, for another of our guest speaker within the environmental sector. Thank you, everybody, and good night. The meeting is adjourned. Once you sign your the attendance, please exit the group.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye. Thank you. You have 1 more minute. If you filled out the form, please exit the group.